Dude, Season 10 playoffs week 2 was absolute cinema. Hands down, one of the most entertaining playoffs I've watched. Now, I don't know if it's considered the best because it has its fair share of controversy that got really bad during the second week, but it did lead some of my most favorite moments in playoffs. So like, I don't know. I'd say I enjoyed it. So yeah. But first things first, just look at my full pickums. I have no clue how I almost predicted the entire thing. And out of the three mistakes, two of them was just at the round of 16, and my only other mistake is grand finals. Somehow I get second round, semifinals, and third place correct, which is crazy. But what makes it even crazier is that I did not change this prediction. Like I don't know if Pickham's like I can't prove it to you, right? But I made that prediction before playoffs even started. Like all of the rounds until grand finals, I basically predicted already beforehand who would win round of 16, second round, semifinals, and third place. Of course, I was gonna change my prediction if like whoever I got wrong is not in the next round. But for some reason, like the people who I really wanted to get to the final part of the playoffs did manage to get to the final part of playoffs, which is kind of crazy, right? And when I was doing predictions, it's not objective at all. By the way, it's like a completely biased thing. Like I have like my own criteria, and there's like only seven things in mind. Seven things, five things. I guess five things in mind when it comes to like predicting who would win. And first was basically that I wanted Infume to win, so I would just make him win grand finals, right? Second, I really wanted a deep EDCR run after him not making out of round one, so I basically just predicted he would go all the way to grand finals but lose to Infume. Then third is that I wanted Feinberg to have a run, so I just predicted he would be in semifinals. Then after that, I like Aquacorde and Mongi, so I just predicted them to go further than usual. And then after that, the last is basically the only time I tried to be objective by viewing like past tournament results and stuff like Hacks being the season 9 playoffs winner, Beef getting second place at the LAN, and Seven Rel winning LFI basically. That's basically like round of 16 predictions, right? That's all I did for predictions. Like that was my basis basically, and somehow that almost predicted the entire playoffs. So that's kind of crazy, I guess. I guess we could talk about like every player during week 2. I guess we can first start with the one player who I wasn't talking about the other week, freaking Feinberg. Because what the hell was this guy on during the entire playoffs? Like on every round, he was up to some BS, bro. That was crazy. Now it did look normal at first because the Loki match was pretty good until like game 5. But game 5 is really where the drama starts because of the perch race that he had against him, where he entered the end second but still somehow won by getting the luckier perch. And bro, people were so mad. And it gets worse because he does it again in semifinals against NHB. Like, oh my... Wait, not semifinals. Round 2, sorry. I kind of forgot Feinberg did have his first round during the second week. But yeah, he does it again against NHB in round 2, game 5. And I know, oh my god. That's when, like, shit got loose. Like, people were actually mad though. Like, oh my god. And I thought it was just hilarious. But like, on a real note, like I do think Loki and NHP deserve to be frustrated about the loss, and like, because realistically they should have won, but Perch RNG screwed them, and it sucks even more since the tournament didn't have the new like Perch standardization and whatever. But at the same time, like I don't think that you should discredit Feinberg for the win because he played really well for the most part, and like you could argue that him going for the Perch race at the end was basically him playing for his out and it went well, right? So I still think he played really well, and like I just don't like players hating on each other. So that's basically it. I do hope the rank team does address that. But yeah, I guess that's Feinberg out of the way. I guess next we could talk about Aquacord, dude. Aquacord. What's up with Aquacord? Like, I like Aquacord, so I did like see him winning round 1 and round 2, but like I did not expect he would double reverse sweep. And what's funny was that during his match against Mongi in round 2, I actually fell asleep once Mongi went up 2-0 because I'm like, it's over, and like I accidentally slept again because it's like 3 a.m. or whatever. But somehow I wake up to like Feinberg NHB, and then I figure out that Aquacord reverse swept Mongi. I'm like, what? Like, okay, sure, I guess my prediction is still correct, but like, how did he do that? Like, okay, I guess, sure. But I think he was just on something the entire playoffs, something like with the mental and stuff. Like, it's admirable, honestly. Like, I did not know how he had the mental to come back from that. And it gets even more insane against Infume because he drove that man to a seed 5, and Infume was down 1 to 2 at some point. And I'm like, holy frick, aquacorde is giving Infume a run for his money. Like, it's actually crazy. Like, of course, Infume clutched up and won at the end. But, like, dude, the run by aquacorde is so impressive. And, like, the mental required to, make 2 reverse sweeps is crazy. And he did manage to win 3rd place, too, by sweeping Feinberg. So yeah, that was pretty good. But now I guess we can talk about like the 2 main people, EDCR and Infume. I'll start with EDCR. EDCR is such a good player, dude. Oh my goodness, when he got out of the round of 16, I was already like celebrating because like finally we get to see one of the best players go through a run. But like week 2 EDCR is like a different beast. Like he starts off with a sweep against Beef Salad, then a clean 3-1 against Feinberg. Although that one loss is a very fever dream seed of a seed 2, where Feinberg. Oh my god, I forgot to mention. Feinberg set a 2-eye on accident against EDCR. Like, oh my god, bro. Dude, I was laughing so hard because I know everyone knows. I think everyone knows. I don't know. But Feinberg made that suggestion in Rankcord about standardizing portal ice to be 0, and I was laughing because when he said the 2-eye, I thought it was like, oh my gosh, this is just propaganda for his own suggestion. But like, it was just a joke. I just thought it was very funny and all that, right? But yeah, returning to EDCR, like EDCR looked so good going into grand finals, and like he looked much stronger than Infamous path to grand finals considering what he had to go through with aquacorde. But like, dude, he just played so well, such methodical gameplay. Like, I don't know if like he had nerve problems in the past, but like he just handled it really well this time around, and like it got him his first win. Infume, how do I talk about Infume, dude? I feel like I'm gonna yap about so much of like what happened with Infume and stuff like that, because he is my favorite player. But like, Infume grand finals again, so he did kind of like redemption for like what happened last season, when he lost to Dougal. But like, dude, okay, wait, I just have to mention it like this then. Grand finals between Infume and EDCR is like one of the best grand finals ever, bro. I'm not gonna lie. Of all, like, I can, like, it's easy to say that it's my favorite grand finals because I don't watch a lot of sports, nor play other like esports that I'm like more familiar with, like for example like CS:GO or Valorant or whatever. I don't really play those, so I can't say for certain that like watching a grand finals there is like the best grand finals ever. But like MCSR, it's like I could definitely say that because I'm a runner, so I kind of have the knowledge, right? And I kind of understand how fast these runners are and how good they are and what it takes to be that fast. So seeing that and then grand finals happen, like it's really easy to say that's the best grand finals I've ever watched. Like back and forth all the way to game 7. Dude, I had a separate script ready to make some kind of commentary video about grand finals because grand finals there's so much to talk about what happened back and forth between Infume and EDCR. But that was a way too long, and I feel like I do it injustice if I didn't talk about the entirety of playoffs and like the other players and stuff. So all I'm just gonna say is grand finals is really good, and there's so many plays within it that like left me like jaw drop. For example, I mean, I always want to talk about the Infume sheep play in Seed 6. Oh yeah, Seed 6 was a lava housing. We got lava housing in grand finals. Like, how did we get lava housing in grand finals? But dude, that sheep play where he turns Dandelion to dye, turn all the sheep in the same color, was so big brain because the gray sheep that was off color ended up like double eating and he got more beds. And I was like, how the hell did he think of that in that moment? Like, that's actually crazy. What else? Oh my gosh, Seed 7. When they were underneath the bastion, and then it was off the left side of a rampart, of a bridge bastion, and I was actually screaming load steal route. And load steal route is where like you start the route from the rampart and go to the chalice instead of the other way around where you go from chalice to rampart. And I was literally screaming it because I watched Infume learn this route in real time, like in one of his streams like a few weeks ago before playoffs started. Like he learned this route, and like it's literally happening in Game 7. And I was about to like do the absolute cinema if he won this seed and won the entire tournament out of load steal route. But yeah, I think it makes it even better because he was behind in Seed 7, and then the load steal route like basically gave him the lead. But like as they went to the stronghold, they were basically neck and neck, and then Infume here's the portal room first, and I'm basically popping off already because I basically thought he won the entire tournament, and then we figure out he doesn't have ice for 0, and I'm literally like deflated, like oh my god, he can't 0, and like you're actually trying to pray, well not really pray, but like you're like hoping the dragon will perch. Sadly, like EDCR catches up, and of course he can 0 because he's EDCR, right? But Infume loses Seed 7 in the tournament, and I was like so like heartbroken, not heartbroken, like that's a bit exaggerated, I guess, but you know what I mean, right? Like, I guess I could use an NBA analogy. Like, if you know the NBA, maybe you don't, but last year's playoffs, grand finals, Pacers versus OKC, like Tyrese Halliburton breaking his Achilles is actually when I figured it's like when I figured out Infume couldn't zero. You know what I mean? Like when like Halliburton breaks his Achilles, for like Pacers fans, you're basically praying they can still win against OKC in Game 7. But for MCSR, it's like once Infume could not zero, you're like still hoping that the Dragon will perch. But they didn't, so like that sucks. And like I don't know why I was so affected by it, because I actually rewatched Grand Finals like 3 times. Because there's like we can talk about Seed 5. Yeah, I watched it many times to figure out where Infume could have won. And like Seed 5, Infume only had 4 explosives versus EDCR who had 6. And I'm like, I've been like dissecting the run, like what happened in that run. Why did Infume only have 4 explosives? And then I think he did a different bridge route because he did Sue, which threw extra gold. And I won't get into it too much here, but I thought that maybe the extra gold that he threw was a string trade that he was not able to get, and that's why he only had 4 beds as opposed to EDCR who had 6. I don't know. Maybe that's not correct. Maybe it's wrong. But who knows? But Seed 7, I even rewatched it because like the problem with Infume during Seed 7 was he didn't have enough pros to zero, and I was wondering, besides the excessive throwing of pros in the stronghold, he had lesser pros than EDCR out of Bastion. So I'm wondering what happened. And, I saw Infume drops a gold in the chalice when he was mining it. And I'm literally thinking maybe that's the extra pearls he needed to win the entire tournament. I'm like, oh, that sucks. But like, Grand Finals really got me invested. And like, it's honestly inspirational, besides Grand Finals, of course, to like watch all of these players play so well. And like, I'm actually motivated right now. Like, oh my goodness, I was yapping so much and like screaming. But like, I'm literally like feeling so inspired, like motivated to improve, to like reach a fraction of that level. Cause like, dude, like playoffs was amazing. Like, oh my gosh, like oh my goodness.